Thank you, ma'am. Now we have Ms. Alka Rama, our youth leader, Secretary All India Congress Committee. Please, ma'am.
तेरे माथे पे ये आंचल बहुत ही खूब है, लेकिन तू इस आंचल से एक परचम बना लेती तो अच्छा था. Honorable judges, respected dignitaries and dear friends, what is women empowerment? Is it to place financial independence in the hand of a woman, or household decision-making power in her hand, or is it a placing political power in her hand? In my view, neither is a complete definition. Women empowerment is about enabling women to participate in everything with equality. Women empowerment in India is a challenging task, as we need to acknowledge the fact that gender-based discrimination is a deep-rooted social malice practice in India in many forms since thousands of years. The malice is not going to go away in a few years, or for that matter, by attempting to work at it through half-hearted attempts. Formulating laws, legislations and policies are not enough, as it is seen that most of the times these laws and policies just remain on paper. The ground situation, on the other hand, just remain the same and in many instances worsen further. Addressing the malice of gender discrimination and women empowerment in India is a long-drawn battle against powerful structural forces of the society which are against women growth and development. The issues of women empowerment is important to remember from welfare and charity-based to a right-based approach. Indian Constitution formed the bedrock of gender justice, but the fact that in spite of good legislations, the fight of women's right is far from over. The implementation of the legislation leaves much to be desired. In matter of crime against women, prosecutions and adjudication prevents women from getting justice. Non-registration of crime against women have been weighed down by centuries of discrimination and negative socialization. Women empowerment in India, issues to be tackled. There are quite a large number of issues which need to be addressed to streamline the existing women empowerment program in India, as well as initiating actual work at the ground level. Women make up to 52% country's population, but their living conditions are very tough and torturous. To initiate measurable action at ground level, education of women should be given top priority, and female literacy program need to be enforced across the country. Further, to improve the socio-economic conditions, women need to be trained and better equipped for taking informed decisions. The real change will be only visible when social attitudes and norms change. Here, inclusive programs involving the man are the need of the hour. This will be helpful for working out adjustments and sharing of gender-based specific performance for tasks which are currently overburdening the women to no end. Unless we improve the ground level living standards of women in India, we might not be able to influence their empowerment in any other possible way. Various issues that need to be addressed for improving overall condition of women in India include making access to affordable cooking fuel for rural women, providing safe drinking water, sanitation, increasing decision-making capacity among women, providing equal wages as that of man, ending their exploitation, improving the political participation of women, eradicating poverty among women, increasing the security of women who are engaged in agriculture as wage workers, providing affordable healthcare and nutrition, and managing the risk of unwanted pregnancies, HIV infections and STDs. Women empowerment in India reality check at the ground level. Today there are lots of things that is happening in the name of women empowerment in India, and lots of resources are spent in this direction. Keeping this in mind, it is crucial to have a reality check on what is happening on paper and what is the actual ground situation. It is worthwhile to ponder on the fact that we are one of the worst in terms of worldwide gender equality ranking. In India, women are discriminated and marginalized at every level of the society, whether it is a social participation, economic opportunity and economic participation, political participation, access to education or access to nutrition and reproductive health care. A significant few in the society still consider women as a sex objects. Gender disparity is high. Crime against women are increasing and violence against women is all-time high in most cases of unreported. Dowry-related harassment and theft is increasing and is profoundly manifesting in urban population. Workplace harassment of women is another phenomenon which is rapidly increasing as more women join the workforce. Pre-age marriages are still taking place in large number, and the number of girls going to school below them as one of the biggest social crimes. All this is happening despite the fact that there are a number of programs and policies initiatives that is being run by the government and other bodies. So it is time to ask the question whether we are moving in the right direction and where are we in terms of paper actions and the actual ground realities. Women empowerment in India. Discrimination against women in all walks of life. One of the major aspects of women empowerment in India is to change the attitude of society towards women. The problem in India is that the society never worked on the premise of gender equality from a long time. Atrocities and discrimination against women is a way of daily life in Indian society. There is an attitude which still prevails in India where women are considered to be only worthwhile of household activities and managing the children. The Pata system, child marriages, dowry system are testimonies to this truth. Women have never part of the mainstream society in India and they are still considered as a great liability. If we just look at the sex ratio, it will show the plight of women in India. It is the lowest at around 933. Female literacy is just 54.16% as per 2001 census. In Indian Parliament and Assembly, women have never represented more than 10%. Most of the women workers in India are outside the organized sector. Now these figures give us the real truth of the actual mentality of the society which has restricted women, marginalized women and discriminated against women quite openly. Can we achieve women empowerment in India with these alarming and disturbing figures? Now I want to pull your attention on some legal aspects. Land and property rights. In most Indian families, women do not own any property in their own name and do not get a share of parental property. Due to weak enforcement of law, women continue to have little access to land and property. In fact, some of the laws discriminate against women when it comes to land and property rights. In Hindu personal law of mid-1956, applied to Hindus, Buddhists, Sikhs and Jains, gave women rights to inheritance. However, the sons had an independent share in the ancestral property, while the daughters' shares were based on the share received by their father, and the father could effectively disinherit a daughter by renouncing his share of ancestral property, but the son will continue to have a share in his own right. Additionally, married daughters, even those facing marital harassment, had no residential right in the ancestral home. After amendment of Hindu laws in 2005, now women have been provided the same status as that of men. Second, the crime against women. Police records show high incidence of crime against women in India. The National Crime Record Bureau reported in 1998 that the growth rate of crime against women would be higher than the population growth rate by 2010. Earlier, many cases were not registered with the police due to the social stigma attached to rape and molestation cases. Official statistics show that there has been a dramatic increase in the number of reported crime against women. Sexual harassment, half of the total number of reported crimes against women are related to the molestation and harassment at the workplaces. In 1997, in a landmark judgment, the Supreme Court of India took a strong stand against sexual harassment of women in the workplaces. The court also laid down detailed guidelines for prevention and redressal of grievances. The National Commission for Women subsequently elaborated these guidelines into a code of conduct for employers. Dowry is another. In 1961, the Government of India passed the Dowry Prohibition Act, making the dowry demand in wedding arrangements illegal. However, many cases of dowry-related domestic violence, suicides and murder are staple diet of media crime reports. In 1985, the Dowry Prohibition Maintenance of List of Gifts to the Bride and Bridegroom rules were framed. According to these rules, a signed list of gifts given at the time of the marriage to the bride and the bridegroom should be maintained. The list should contain a brief description of each prevalent in India and continues to this day. Historically, in the past, the child widows were condemned to a life of great agony, shaving heads, living in isolation, and stoned by the society. Although child marriage was outlawed in 1860, it is still a common practice. According to UNICEF's State of the World Children 2009, reported 47% of Indian women aged 20 to 24 were married before the legal age of 18, with 56% in rural area. The report also showed that 40% of the world children marriages occur in India. Female infanticide and sex-selective abortions. India has a highly masculine sex ratio, the chief reason being that many women died before reaching adulthood. Tribal societies in India have a less masculine sex ratio than all other caste groups. The high masculine sex ratio in India is due to female infanticide and sex-selective abortions. All medical tests that can be used to determine the sex of the child have been banned in India due to incidents of these tests being used to get rid of unwanted female children before birth. Yet, female infanticide, killing of girl infants, has reached epidemic proportions today. Incidents of domestic violence are higher among the lower socio-economic classes. The Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005 came into force on October 26, 2006. Immoral trafficking. The Immoral Trafficking Prevention Act was passed in 1956. However, many cases of trafficking of young girls and women have been reported. These women are either forced into prostitution, domestic work, or child labor. Honor killing. The phenomenon of honor killing